I was like, go where? I snuck mine in. Hopefully I didn't. Busy week for Tennessee. This is their third game in 7 days. They're perfect so far. Try to pick another win on the road here in Athens this afternoon. Stephanie Paul getting the start for the second straight game for Georgia. The freshman out of Naples, Florida.
Yeah, Joni Taylor opting to go small ball against Tennessee with 4 guards and bring Kalia Robinson off the bench. And a matchup to watch is Stephanie Paul, the freshman, on Jamie Nard. As we mentioned, has been clutch and consistent for Tennessee.
Now we'll get to see what the Lady Vols can come up with on their first offensive possession. Reynolds with the ball in her hands. Has the shot blocked by Clark. Tennessee gets it back, 15 on the shot clock. It's to Shields. Pulls up. A little off on that first shot.
What a great defensive stop. If you're Georgia, you help over on Mercedes Russell, who sets the on ball.
Here is Paul, passes it off to Shanae Armbruster for the first points of the game.
Shanae Armbruster is one of those players who she can help contribute outside of that big 3 for Georgia. They just have had issues in consistently scoring, and especially getting 4 players into double figures. Another strong defensive stance for the Lady Bulldogs.
And that is what this Georgia team hangs its hat on. They've made life difficult. Look at South Carolina. Both their matchups against the Gamecocks this season were close. South Carolina pulled away a bit in the last meeting, but this Georgia defense keeps them in many games. Just need to get that offense to go with it.
It's funny when we're talking to Joni Taylor, she's never worried about can she defend a team. It's always can we get offensive scoring going.
And right now Tennessee, which averages 73 points a game in conference play, at second in the SEC, having trouble getting their offense going. Clark going to the basket. DeShields trying to get Tennessee on the board. Too strong. Another empty possession for the Lady Vols. Tennessee starting at 0 for 3 from the floor. They'll see if they can do something off the turnover here. Second of the game.
Well, it's time to get Mercedes Russell, Jen, the ball. I mean, she's got to post up. She's a great passer as well, but just get her some touches, and that way we can get something going offensively.
On cue, but her shot a little bit short. Holly Warlick told us that. She said, we're going to get her the ball. We're going to get Mercedes Russell the basketball. She averages 16.5 points per game. As you said, 6'6", great size. But nothing doing so far for the Tennessee offense. Armbruster. Her shot is short, but she gets her own rebound. Ingram picked up her dribble in the corner, bad spot. Ball still loose. Patches Roberts comes up with it.
Points hard to come by right now.
Clark lost it on her drive to the basket. DeShields on the run. And just a little short. She shakes her head. Can't believe she missed that one.
She's got to make that layup, and she can't swing the ball out and make some kind of fancy play. Just put it in and get 2 points.
Ingram going up against Russell, has a height disadvantage, and it showed. Tennessee is fouled as Nard drove to the basket.
A couple tired players there in the first 4 minutes. No whistle. Just up and down, and we'll get our first look here at Kalia Robinson, who will check in the game.
You talked about what a difference maker she could be, and really needs to be for this Georgia team. And in our open, as Robinson checks in, Nard on the free throw line. Boy, we saw her there on Monday night, and she's an excellent free throw shooter. As you said, it was a controversial call. I don't think anybody would argue that at the end of that South Carolina game. That put Nard on the line, but she stood up there and coolly knocked him down.
Absolutely. She stepped up and made those big-time free throws in a very tough place to play in Columbia.
Nard now 24 of her last 29 from the free throw line. Said her dad, who played at Maryland, always put her in those end game type situations as a kid. So she said that's kind of what she went back to. Didn't feel nervous. Russell got her hands onto the ball, but it'll be Georgia basketball. 7 on the shot clock.
The great thing is in those late game situations, when you have a player like Jamie Nard who can get to the free throw line, and you've got a playmaker like Diamond, you can create things for her, but also know that you can kick it out to Jamie, who's going to knock down a shot or get to the free throw line.
Ingram off the inbounds, can't get it to go. There is Nard, Miss Consistency, as you called her, and she's been fantastic. What a look from DeShields trying to set up Russell.
Help side has been superb so far in this first quarter for Georgia.
Robinson gets her first offensive touch. Welcome into the game.
Joni Taylor talked about her intensity and effort in practice leading up to that Arkansas game, and that it was there, and so far she had practiced well going into this one, and a good start for Kalaya.
2-point Georgia lead in a low-scoring game to start things off here in Athens. You can sense Tennessee desperate to try to get Russell going there in the paint.
You can combat the size of Tennessee if you're pressuring the ball and you're in help side and you're double teaming, and that's what we're seeing right now, and Georgia just executing their defensive game plan.
Clark gets it back to Robinson.
Okay.
She's got that too.
Step back and hit it.
And this is a player who had 20 points to go along with 9 rebounds, 7 block shots off the bench in Fayetteville on Thursday, and in her previous 4 games, she averaged 2.3 points per game. So she really has not been as much of a factor as Georgia needs her to be in conference play. We'll see if she's turned that corner a bit. 8 on the shot clock for Reynolds, around and out. And an offensive rebound gives Tennessee a much-needed second possession here. DeShields is fouled. So Georgia with a 5-point lead over Tennessee. Kalaya Robinson, the Lady Bulldogs need her to get going. So far, so good.
If you're Joni Taylor, you have to be pleased with that first 6 minutes.
Quite a different feeling over on the Tennessee bench, as that shot right there by DeShields was the first field goal made by Tennessee in this game. 0 for 7 to start before that one. Bailey Washington in the game for Georgia. Credit her an assist to Patches Roberts. What a year Roberts has been having for the Lady Bulldogs, leading them in both scoring and rebounding. DeShields feeling it. That's 2 in a row. You don't want to let her get going.
Diamond's a player who can easily take over a game, but that started with Mercedes stepping up and hitting Georgia with the on ball. And you got to pick your poison, as Joni Taylor talked about. You step up, defend Diamond, or also you have to defend Mercedes Russell and account for her.
Russell against Robinson, and she'll draw the foul. What do you like about that matchup inside with those two?
Well, I love the fact that Kalaya Robinson, she's a shot blocker, but she's a young player, and going up against someone I feel like Mercedes Russell, she's almost the point guard out there for Tennessee. If you watch her on film, she's constantly pointing, she's directing traffic. So she's really gonna challenge Kalaya, mainly staying out of foul trouble.
Holly Warlick telling us Mercedes Russell really one of the most intelligent players out there on the floor. Redshirt junior. Robinson just a sophomore, as Alexa Middleton had it go off her foot. And over and back be Georgia ball. Third turnover for Tennessee. Middleton, a junior out of Murfreesboro. Part of a short bench for Holly Warlick, really relies on 7 players consistently.
Tennessee showing some zone defense, and with that short bench can allow their players to, you don't want them to say rest, but make plays too.
Talking about making plays, you don't want to give too many of those up. Tennessee would love to make this a little bit more of a track meet.
Well, we said off the top of, Diamond Shields getting better defensively, and she said that it was time for me to start putting forth that effort on the defensive side of the floor.
Shanae Armbruster came right back down the floor, brought it back to a 4-point lead for Georgia. Nard, who's coming off 2 of the highest scoring games in her career into this one.
There's been a couple shots that Diamond Shields has just forced offensively. Yes, she can elevate over players. Yes, she can really rise up over a defender in her jump shot. That's a shot that you can get with 3 or 4 seconds on the shot clock. I'd like to see more ball movement. That's been the key for Tennessee in the last few games, is moving the ball, having unselfish play. And I get that Diamond is a creator. At the same time, let's move the ball and let your offense work.
Armbruster couldn't get that one to go. Be Tennessee basketball. Now Tennessee coming off a game where they shot 53% in a win against LSU on Thursday night, and they shot over 50% in all 4 quarters of that game. And Holly Warlick talked about the great shot selection she felt her team had. Reynolds takes a contested shot. Armbruster the rebound. Robinson somehow got her hands to it and finishes. 7 points in the game for Kalia Robinson.
That's type of throw it up to your receiver and let him go get it type of play.
Middleton trying to do the same on the other end, and Russell just had it taken away by Roberts. The tip by Ingram, great idea to try to get it to Robinson.
And we talked about how much of an impact Kalia can have on a game. There she just reaches over Jamie Nard, the sophomore, goes up, gets it. And the hot start continues for Robinson, which is a great sign for Georgia. I mean, she is going to have a tremendously bright future. It's just being consistent. She's been up and down. But look what she can do.
Six-point lead for the Lady Bulldogs. Shot from Armbruster off the glass and in. That's a long 2. She'll take it. The fewest points Tennessee has had in a first quarter of the season was 10. That was against Baylor. They now sit at 8. Final 8 seconds. Nard behind the back to her left hand, and the ball is stuck. It'll be a jump ball, and it'll be Tennessee basketball, 2.6 on the clock. Not a great pass. It's tapped away. Roberts won't be able to get a shot off, but the defense of Georgia, the story so far, Tennessee has just been unable to get going offensively, and the Georgia Lady Bulldogs hitting it on the offensive end. And Kalia Robinson so far.
Really, they're just picking up right where they left off versus Arkansas, where Armbruster had 14, and we already talked about what Kalia did. Great defense by Tennessee, and an adjustment that they made to trap right off the inbounds.
Courtney Dunbar, the junior out of Edwardsville, Illinois, number 13 in the game for Tennessee. It's going to be a foul away from the ball against Georgia. And it goes against Robinson. That's something you said to keep an eye on. That is her second.
And Russell does so much to get position. She battles on each possession. And a young player in Kalia Robinson, who is foul prone. And it's just the intelligence, as you talked about, Mercedes Russell getting Kalia Robinson into foul trouble. Heads up play by Mercedes Russell.
And it was the help of Haley Clark there that helped bat the ball away from Russell, but she's got the ball back in her hands again. She's off on the spin. Armbrister looking long for Ingram. Tip pass to Washington. That had all the makings of getting everybody excited here inside Stegman Coliseum.
Let's take a look at this replay. Georgia wanted to push in transition. The heads-up play by Mackenzie Ingram. Washington just couldn't finish it. I'm always impressed with Mackenzie. After a play, she leaps up in the air. I'm like, save some of that energy, girl.
She was ready to celebrate the assist right there. I don't blame her. Russell's shot, nothing but net. Her first points of the game. Clark.
More zone by Tennessee, really trying to disrupt Georgia's offense. And right now working, just too much standing.
7 on the shot clock for Clark. She'll drive and have it rejected by Russell.
This is what's nice about having a 6'6" center who can rise up, block a shot like that. If you get beat defensively, it's nice to have that anchor in the paint.
4 seconds on the shot clock. Georgia's got to get it in. Washington gets it. Too short. Ingram on the offensive glass. Now, the shot clock should have reset there. That did hit the rim, but it did not. That's why you heard the buzzer go off, although I believe a foul was called on the floor. Our officials today, Roy Gobay and Gina Cross, Kelly Johnson, will get that figured out as Mimi Jackson was whistled for the foul, so Ingram will go to the line.
Mackenzie Ingram can just make those hustle plays. Get extra possessions for her team. She's athletic.
By the way, Steffi, I like that you've said rise up twice today, since we are in the state of Georgia, and there's a lot of red and black around here. Looking for the Falcons.
All week.
Yes. Red black serving dual purpose today. Boy, clear lane to the basket for Nard, who does not have a field goal yet in the game. Clark was wearing a mask on her face at shoot-around earlier today. Got an elbow just above her right eye. But said not wearing it in the game because she had a hard time seeing. Could be a problem as a point guard. DeShields.
Black eye looks cool, though. I like it.
Yeah, tough. It'd be tough to get one of those. DeShields driving baseline. It's going to be a foul against Tennessee. Nard picking up the foul. Michael Smith and Jamel Hill host the new 6 o'clock Sports Center on ESPN as they bring their own brand of style and personality to sports, music, movies, and more. The party starts Monday, and the 6 is also available streaming live on the ESPN app and Watch ESPN. Ingram for 3, a little strong. And a jump in frustration right in front of us. Now that you've said that, I'm going to notice.
Just watch for it.
DeShields trying to be a little more unselfish and get a better look for a teammate that time. Was looking for Shaquila Nunn, but instead it's turnover number 7 against the Lady Vols.
I could see where she was going with that pass. Just a teammate was not ready for it. And that's another thing of a forced turnover, forcing a pass by Diamond DeShields.
The 7 turnovers in the game for Tennessee. Here in the early moments of quarter number 2, they had 11 in the entire game on Thursday against LSU, a team that thrives on forcing turnovers. 3 on the shot clock for Roberts. Russell the rebound. DeShields is fouled. And you just kind of watching her body language, you get the sense she is putting her head down and going to work. And that doesn't mean taking a shot every time. She did try to pass off the last time, but just trying to be the motor to get things going for Tennessee.
And there's no one really that can guard her one-on-one because she's just too quick, too smooth with the ball, and as we mentioned, she can elevate over defenders. The biggest difference in her game this year is trusting her teammates, where she doesn't feel like she has to do everything. And right now you get the sense that no one's really knocking down shots, so she's going to try and take over the game.
Well, they've tried to get it into Russell a couple of times. She only has 2 points. Nard doesn't have a field goal. And those are the big 3 right now. Just 1/3 of that trio really doing any damage. And Roberts stepped out of bounds. 5th turnover against Georgia. Georgia wanted to make this a half-court game for Tennessee, not let them get out in transition. Russell wants it, the double team there immediately, and she manages to draw the foul.
Joni Taylor not happy with that call, and Diamond DeShields talking to the referee there. And keep an eye on Patches Roberts, one of the best defenders in this league, and she's going to do everything she can to get Diamond frustrated, to get her out of rhythm. And then they're going to continue to double Mercedes Russell, and it's worked for Georgia in this first half.
And we'll see where that foul was called. DeShields curling off. Looks like it is against Roberts. Well, rivalry week starts Monday on ESPN with an ACC Big 12 doubleheader featuring 6th-ranked Louisville and 9th-ranked Virginia at 7, followed at 9 by 3rd-ranked Kansas taking on Kansas State. That's Big Monday presented by eBay as part of Rivalry Week presented by Wendy's, also streaming live on the ESPN app and Watch ESPN. So perhaps a heads-up play there by DeShields, trying to get Roberts off of her game a little bit there. You mentioned how good a defender Roberts is.
Yeah, she's going to want to know what kind of gum Diamond DeShields is chewing. That's how close on the catch she's going to try and be disruptive.
I love when you bust out the Hoosiers reference.
I just know because I had defenders trying to do the same thing. It's not fun.
Ingram, too strong. And Reynolds, this is the second time I've seen her try to really pick up the pace down the floor, but the rest of her teammates aren't ready for it. Nice dish to Russell, who finally gets one to go down.
And just an easy bucket and a great find by Mimi Jackson. But yeah, Jordan has done a good job of just pushing the tempo, playing quicker, and that's something that Holly Warlick has wanted her team to do. And Jordan Reynolds is a very important part of this Tennessee team. I know we talk a lot about the big 3, but she's running the show at the point guard position.
Washington. Yeah, Tennessee really had a heart-to-heart conversation after their loss at Auburn, as DeShields makes a long 2. And they really reevaluated everyone's role. And they said, yes, we have these big 3 doing a lot, but we need things from the other players as well. You have equally important roles, just maybe doing slightly different tasks. 10 points in the game for DeShields. Roberts. But Ingram is fouled trying to get the rebound. Diamond DeShields picks up the foul, but she is in double digits, part of a 6-0 Tennessee run to bring it within 2. For Georgia this quarter. Has it been worse, or is it just a matter of them not falling?
Not falling and taking some too quick of shots in the shot clock. And you have to credit Tennessee's changing of their defense, going from man to zone. It's thrown Georgia off.
We saw them start with that trapping defense right out of, I believe it was the quarter break. There's a good shot from Ingram, her first field goal. She's got 4 points in the game. And you mentioned that explosive potential for this Tennessee offense. That one willed in at the last moment by Russell. She has 6 points. Tennessee, one of the top scoring teams in the SEC. Average over 75 points per game on the season, over 73 in conference play. That's second. And they've got it to within 2 a couple of times, but have not been able to get out in front of this one yet. Now 5 on the shot clock. Try to get it to Ingram, who just beats the buzzer.
Some timely shots by Mackenzie Ingram. And she's got her work cut out for her. She's been guarding Mercedes Russell at 6'6". She's just 6'2".
Shaquila Nunn had a great game against LSU on Thursday. She drives to the basket, draws the foul. Rivalry week continues Tuesday on ESPN with an SEC Big Ten doubleheader. At 7 o'clock Eastern, 8th-ranked Kentucky hosts LSU, followed at 9 o'clock Eastern with a matchup that dates back to 1909 as Michigan State battles Michigan. Super Tuesday presented by CenturyLink as part of Rivalry Week, presented by Wendy's, also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN.
I'm looking forward to that Kentucky-LSU game and how they can bounce back after last night's big loss to the Florida Gators.
I know you were paying attention to that one. Gators, pretty impressive. Armbruster for 3. Not the best looking shot there, but the putback good.
Mackenzie Ingram really stepping up to the plate with Kalai Robinson in foul trouble, giving the Lady Bulldogs some offense, some much needed scoring.
Now she has 8 points in the game as DeShields comes down to the other end and shows off that elevation. She has a dozen.
There's no stopping that. It's just good offense and a talented player making a shot.
Roberts trying to get around Nunn. She did. Roberts then picking up foul number 2.
Come on. Good job, Patches.
Tennessee, DeShields and Russell really doing the bulk of the scoring. The one missing from that equation, Nard. Tennessee in the bonus, so Russell will go to the free throw line.
And Jamie's had some foul trouble. But, you know, Mercedes Russell this season, she's just been so improved. And she really put in a lot of work in the offseason. And as I mentioned, playing over 33 minutes a game at 6'6", getting up and down the court. This is a high up-tempo team.
And she's now tied the game with that trip to the free throw line. Simone Costa in for Georgia. Armbruster has taken a lot of shots here recently. Ingram bails her out with the offensive glass, but then couldn't pick it up. Jackson leading the break for Tennessee. Nunn open just beyond the free throw line. Costa is a member of the starting lineup earlier in the season. Transfer out of Independence Community College. Ingram spins and is fouled. Nunn picking up her first personal.
We talked about Mackenzie Ingram being a player who can get you extra possessions, and she's got on the offensive glass when there's been some early shot attempts by Georgia. And she's just really been putting this team on her back in the last 4 minutes of this quarter when they could not get going offensively.
Joni Taylor, who you may have noticed earlier, is over there on the sideline on her scooter. Tore her Achilles earlier this season, so she's had to make some adjustments both coaching and at home as a new mom.
She is Superwoman in my book, with a brand new baby and a brand new scooter.
I asked her how it was going. She said, well, we're figuring it out.
Yeah.
Lead back to Georgia by 1 off the fingertips of Russell. 9th turnover for Tennessee.
And Reynolds, I understand wanting to get the ball into Russell, make the easy pass to the wing to Mimi Jackson, and then throw it into Russell. Because she's putting in the work and she's ready, and she's got Mackenzie Ingram on her back.
Final minute of the first half. Georgia in the lead, as the Lady Bulldogs have been all afternoon so far. Ten on the shot clock. Ingram turns and gets it. "11 points for Ingram. All 11 this quarter for Georgia, and Holly Warlick wants a timeout. It's a 3-point Georgia lead. We've got a few seconds remaining in the first.
Contributed despite the double teams, but making every single catch, every single play difficult for Tennessee. They'd love to finish this half with a defensive stop.
The shot from Jackson, around and out. Offensive rebound by Nunn. She gets another one. And that's been the kind of day it's been so far for Tennessee. Georgia leads it by 3, 27-24 over Tennessee. That's our score at the half from Athens as we send it back to the studio. This Tennessee team, 3 wins against top 10 opponents this season, and they have trailed multiple times. Now at the half, they haven't been in this position much, just the 7th time this season they've trailed at the half, 1 in 5 in those games. So while they have come back at times, they've also not been able to get over the hump, and it's really been kind of a Jekyll and Hyde season for this Tennessee team. Yeah, they're good, they're really good.
Well, the Ole Miss and the Auburn game were bad losses for Tennessee, and then you take a look at when they were able to win. So there has been question marks in terms of consistency for this team.
But that was the word used over and over. We talked to Diamond DeShields and Jamie Nard earlier today, and they just felt it was consistent efforts what's gotten them on this 4-game win streak, and what has really been the defining factor of when this team is playing well. Ingram, she picks up where she left off. 13 in the game for Ingram.
A pretty looking turnaround jumper.
Jackson loses it.
And we talked to Holly Warlick about this team and what's been the key for them in terms of consistency, but also focus. And you can see a play like that by Mimi Jackson, just dribbles off her foot, a lack of focus.
Tennessee came into the day in a tie for 3rd in the SEC, and of course those top 4 spots in the conference get you a double bye in the conference tournament as Paul misses, nearly taps the ball back into her own hands. DeShields opting for a better look, why not? What a move for Diamond DeShields, she has 14.
And that goes back to the decision-making and the maturity of Diamond DeShields, recognizing to give up the 3-pointer for a layup.
Get the feeling that might have been some of the halftime locker room conversation for Tennessee. Clark, so long 2. DeShields with the rebound. Passes it off to a wide open Nard. That's a good way to get your teammate going.
Message sent if you're Holly Warlick in the way that her team has responded on the last 2 possessions, and really triggered by Diamond DeShields getting out in transition.
The lead trimmed to 1 for Georgia. Ingram just short. Reynolds to Jackson, and she's fouled.
Just so skilled and patient in transition. And Diamond and I talked a couple weeks ago about her in transition, and she was just saying that she has the trust in her teammates, and she doesn't feel like she has to do everything when she's got the ball in her hands. And now you can see where she just dumps it off to her teammate knowing she's going to finish. And just making smart decisions.
Jackson, just a 47% free throw shooter. She's at the line, but hasn't been there too often. It's 8 of 17 coming into this game.
And she's a great defender for Tennessee. Her offense will come along. And they need a defender. They've got Diamond, they've got Jamie and Mercedes, and that goes back to players knowing their role.
Tie game now. Roberts for 3. And she really hasn't been able to find her touch. Had 1 3 go down in the first half, but that's been the only scoring for the Lady Bulldogs' leading scorer on the season. Tennessee with a chance to take the lead, something they have not had in this game. DeShields pulls up off the glass, and Tennessee's out in front. Right back the other way. There's Patches Roberts.
Nice steal by Mackenzie Ingram to make that play happen.
Nard lost the dribble, but it wound up back in the hands of the Lady Vols. Russell gets it, has it blocked. Robinson, in case you didn't notice, back in the game for Georgia.
And making her presence felt. And you can see Mercedes Russell pointing at calls for it, but the rotation has been so big for Georgia today.
Russell gets it again, puts it on the floor, has it taken away. Clark looking for some help. She finds it in Robinson.
That's how you do it in transition. Haley Clark, great timing in the dish.
9 points in the game for Robinson. Now Tennessee getting a little bit more movement. 8 on the shot clock for DeShields. Nard with 3 to shoot. Has to hurry. And the threat of Robinson there, enough to disrupt things. Shot clock violation.
Well, they were running Diamond DeShields off a double screen to isolate her so she could go to the basket with her right hand. She opts not to take it and leaves Jamie Nard with 3 seconds left on the shot clock to try and create something, and she hasn't had a rhythm in this game.
Robinson looking for Ingram, who's posting up Nard. She worked so hard and rewarded for it that time with a trip to the free throw line. Second foul on DeShields.
You can see Georgia wants to go high-low with Kalaya to Mackenzie Ingram.
Not sure how they got DeShields with that foul. She was kind of the last defender coming in for Tennessee, but it's who the whistle went against. Unfortunate couple of misses there for Ingram. Typically a pretty good free throw shooter, about 70% on the season. So great to see her healthy, though, after she missed the final 15 games of last season, dealing with an illness that involved something around the tissues around her heart. Little off by DeShields, but Russell helping out her teammate.
Yeah, Russell didn't have any offensive rebounds in the first half, and she can make her impact felt.
Trying to do it on the defensive end this time, but called for the foul. That's just her first. And we'll send Kalaya Robinson to the line. Free throw shooting, not a strength for the sophomore out of Marietta. And she got a friendly roll on the first one. Robinson just 56% on the season from the line. but that one enough to put Georgia back out in front. Reynolds has it batted away. It'll be Tennessee basketball. But first, we'll take a break. Pretty intense game so far here in this third quarter as these two teams will talk things over.
Jen, we heard Rebecca Lobo talk about this Georgia team taking South Carolina at South Carolina wire to wire, and they're in a good one here. New. Special moment for her.
Robinson tripped up, but Tennessee still in possession. Jackson misses, offensive rebound, and that's one thing, Steffi, that Tennessee in this quarter has been much better than Georgia. That's hitting the boards. They were +7 going into that timeout on the glass. DeShields splits a couple defenders, tries to go up and over Robinson, and that may be just about as good. That would be foul number 3 on Robinson. DeShields coming off a double-double on Thursday night, had 15 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists against LSU, and all of those points coming in the second half.
That goes back to the maturity of Diamond DeShields, where last year that might have affected her second half performance. This year, much more well-rounded, balanced, and just a tougher player.
Her 18th point, enough to put Tennessee out in front, and she had her hands on the ball. It will be Tennessee basketball.
And Georgia's going to have to adjust to that high-low passing, as we've seen Tennessee now much better rotating and help side defense. The second time they try to force a high-low.
DeShields working the crossover a couple of times. And then Robinson, I know you've heard coaches say, if you can touch it, you can grab it. She had a hand on it. Yes, but just one that time and lost it. So back to Tennessee it goes. Robinson still on the floor with those 3 personals. And it's taken away by the Lady Bulldogs. Robinson, pass a little tough to handle, but she does great with it.
Georgia, they're 2 bigs. Mackenzie Ingram, Kalia Robinson leading that fast break and finishing it.
12 points in the game for Robinson. Russell, the answer. She has 12. Robinson working on Russell, blocked. And it's going to be a foul against Ingram. Second personal on Mackenzie Ingram. Tennessee back in control, 1-point lead, and look at the rebounding differential.
Her pursuit of the basketball has just been much better in this third quarter.
Russell calling for it.
Again, great double team by Georgia.
Just enough to get her into kind of bad positioning there. Clark, Robinson. Not quite sure Washington was ready for that pass. Joni Taylor telling her team it's all right. Let's keep fighting here. Reynolds switches it to Jackson. Nard takes the 3, little short. Armbrister batting the rebound around, needed some help from Clark. It winds up in the hands of DeShields. Armbrister on the run to Robinson.
Wow.
How about that
The adjustment midair.
You see the potential of this sophomore that Joni Taylor raves about. Said it's the reason she pushes her so hard.
Let's take a look at Kalia Robinson. She goes up, adjusts, and still finishes. And just a sophomore, and we talked about this, her room to grow and continue to develop, but when she shows up and when she dominates the way she does,
can be a difference maker. As we showed, that she's over 17 points per game in games that Georgia wins and averages just over 9 in the losses. That's going to be a violation.
Kalia's like, man, you're messing up my points.
You know, when a 50% free throw shooter makes one, she's like, come on, guys. It's not fair. She has 14 points. Simone Costa, the one that wavered a little bit on the line. Nice passing. That high-low game working for Russell.
Well, they're able to get Mercedes on the move and preventing Georgia from being able to double team her. Nice, Haley. Oh, Patches Roberts. If she can get to the rim, she's that athletic type of attack player that Georgia has.
And Roberts spent a lot of that first half defensively trying to keep up with the other number 11 to Shields. See, she switched over on Reynolds for that possession. Washington looking for Robinson. It'll be Georgia basketball. 15 seconds on the shot clock. It's a nice finish, isn't it?
Especially against a player like Mimi Jackson, who can get down in a stance, get low, is quick.
Ingram is checked back in. Not sure Tennessee was aware of it. Wide open off the inbounds. How about Robinson working for the offensive glass? Good unselfish passing from the Lady Dogs. The follow-up and 2 more for Roberts. Tennessee has won 10 in a row in this series over Georgia, but the Lady Bulldogs putting together a nice possession and leading by 3. From the corner, the shot by Middleton. Silences the crowd a little bit. First 3 of the game. That one by Middleton to tie it. About an 8-second difference, shot clock, game clock here. Clark was still trying to give directions, and Georgia be frustrated about that possession. Tennessee with a chance to take the lead.
Have to be thinking some sort of one-on-one situation with Diamond looking into Mercedes Russell.
Roberts slipped a little bit defensively. DeShields makes no mistake about it. Right to the basket. Tennessee will take the lead into the 4th quarter here in Athens. These 2 teams have come to play after a slow start. That 3rd quarter alone had 5 ties and 9 lead changes. Tennessee out in front as we head to... So she'll get a little rest. Georgia trying to win 2 games in a row. Get things turned around as they head down the stretch here in conference play. Boy, the putback just missed there by Mimi Jackson.
And now some full court pressure, Mimi Jackson on Haley Clark.
Washington working so hard for positioning. She slipped and then manages to draw the foul on Mercedes Russell, her 2nd. Armbruster getting a little anxious there, and Joni Taylor, sensing it, calls a timeout. Keeping up in the SEC, and I was really happy that was confetti.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Washington off the inbounds, hits for 2. That's her first field goal of the game, and it ties it up. Great passing. DeShields on the move.
That two-man game for Tennessee has just been so effective. Mercedes in the post, but she can also pass extremely well, and you've got a versatile player like Diamond DeShields who can beat you off the bounce, but also get into the lane.
22 points for DeShields, her 8th 20-point game this season. She averages 17.6, that's second in the SEC. And on the other end, some nice interior passing. Ingram couldn't get the finish, and then Washington throws it away. Can't fault the hustle on that one, though.
And here's Kalia Robinson back into the game, and Washington gave them some quality minutes, but Kalia certainly had the hot hand today, and her and Mackenzie Ingram in the paint.
For Tennessee, Russell has her 13th double-double of the season. 13 rebounds. And there's a foul on the floor. That'll go against Roberts, her third. And a little miscommunication. Robinson leading the way. She wants to pull up for the jumper. You better make it, and she did. 16 in the game for the sophomore out of Marietta. Coming off a 20-point effort in Georgia's win on Thursday night in Fayetteville.
Look at Patches Roberts defending Diamond DeShields, and that's a tall task.
Jackson misses, and you almost sense that if you're Tennessee, you get Roberts to switch off to Shields, you want to get it back to her. Jackson taking the shot instead. Clark was trying to get it back to Robinson, and that'll be an offensive foul against Clark. DeShields drawing the charge. Another dimension to her game, isn't it?
We joked around before the game and said, "We're taking charges now," and she kind of laughed. And against South Carolina, she took 2.
Well, she has a very clear vision in her mind, Diamond DeShields, of wanting to get this Tennessee team back to where it has historically been in the top of women's basketball. She transferred, of course, after being a National Freshman of the Year at North Carolina. Middleton, little too ambitious, had a wide open Mercedes Russell.
Add numbers, 1-on-3, make the simple pass.
Alexa Middleton, a junior out of Murfreesboro. A valuable performer off the bench for Tennessee. Clark to put Georgia ahead. Middleton. Reynolds gets it back to Russell. The double team doesn't work that time. 16 for Russell. .15 on the shot clock. Ingram gets herself a look.
It's been so impressive about Georgia today, Jen, is after they started really slow offensively in that second quarter, but no offensive lulls since then. They've been able to go trade basket for basket with Tennessee, and we've known that Georgia can get it done defensively. The question mark was offense.
So far, they've hung in offensively and really disrupted Tennessee enough defensively. It was this game last year that really got Holly Warlick's team on its run going into the postseason. It was senior day in Knoxville. They won by 20 over Georgia. Armbruster might have gotten away with a walk, but DeShields with the rebound. Tennessee, of course, making it all the way to the SEC tournament semifinals and then the NCAA Elite Eight, the farthest of any SEC team a year ago. And one opportunity for DeShields. Count the two. Rivalry week starts Monday on ESPN with an ACC Big 12 doubleheader featuring Louisville and Virginia. Top 10 matchup there at 7. Followed at 9 by third-ranked Kansas taking on Kansas State. Big Monday presented by eBay as part of Rivalry Week presented by Wendy's. Also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Largest lead of the game now, just 3, but Tennessee happy to have it. Robinson on the interior.
That 1-2 punch of Ingram to Robinson today, and that high-low pass has just been fantastic.
1-point game. DeShields nearly lost it, and then in the end did have it taken away. Armbruster, the pace hectic at the moment. The intensity high as you'd expect in the SEC. Robinson somehow got her hands on it, but then threw it away. Holly Warlick says, okay, we'll give it back. 1-point game here in Stegman. Don't go anywhere. More to come after this. Today, I think most of them supporting the Lady Bulldogs, but you saw a couple Falcons fans getting ready for the big game. So much buzz and excitement around the state of Georgia. The Falcons back in the Super Bowl for the first time since '99. Clark with 1 on the shot clock. Won't be able to get a shot off. But Tennessee and Georgia, speaking of rivalries, I said it earlier, when Andy Landers and Pat Summitt were roaming the sidelines, these two teams historically the winningest in the history of SEC women's basketball.
Tough defense and rebounding. That's what you think of when you think of Georgia and Tennessee.
That was the 4th foul there on Robinson. She has been huge for Georgia this afternoon. Reynolds off the glass and in. 4 minutes, 10 seconds to go. That was her first field goal.
This is a player who has the ability to step up at big-time moments, and Jordan Reynolds, some emotion after the game. Holly Warlick wants her players to have emotion.
It's a player who had a triple-double earlier this season against UNC Wilmington. It's the 3rd in Tennessee history. 11 points, 14 rebounds, 10 assists in that game. She has 3 points and has helped Tennessee to a 4-point lead, its biggest today. On the shot clock. Georgia's really having a tough time getting a good look. That Tennessee defense, you sense, has stepped up in intensity.
Well, it's won them the games against those top 10 teams, as I mentioned, especially against Notre Dame and then South Carolina. Key stops down the stretch, and this is a team that has gone on the road, beat South Carolina on the road, and has gotten some toughness because of that. We've seen that showing up here defensively.
It's going to be a foul against Tennessee, so it's going to be Georgia basketball. It's Mercedes Russell picking up her 3rd personal. That other top 10 win on Tennessee's resume coming against Stanford back in December. Very low-scoring game, 59 51. Armbrister, too strong. Ingram trying to get the rebound, and she is fouled. They're going to call it on the floor. That's Nard's fourth. And to catch you up, Jamie Nard has 4 for Tennessee. Both Haley Clark and Kalia Robinson have 4 for Georgia. A lot of key players there trying to stay on the floor for their respective teams. Ingram, DeShields reading it all the way and just snatches it out of the air. DeShields to the basket, too easy.
Her change of speed is what will make her so great at the next level. She's able to get to the rim.
Robinson keeping pace on the other end. The timeout, Georgia, and you sense they needed a bucket like that. Georgia ready to go to work defensively. They're going to wait for Tennessee to get into the half court here. Reynolds, now DeShields on the move. Looking inside, and it's read well by Ingram. Roberts driving, which way's a goal, and against Georgia. And that's now 4 on Patches Roberts.
Let's see if Diamond DeShields is able to set her feet. She turns around.
Nah,
Tough call.
Yeah.
Second charge for Diamond DeShields today.
She's a little bit gimpy over here, DeShields. Tennessee content to just let some seconds tick off the clock with this 4-point lead. 6 on the shot clock now. Nard off the glass, too strong. Russell the rebound and put back. Different sense of urgency on the other end. Robinson took the 3, then faded away, and Tennessee got the rebound. 27 points for Diamond DeShields.
Time to lock in defensively for Georgia. No extra possessions. Mackenzie Ingram screaming at her teammates.
Chance for Georgia here to cut into the lead. Nearly a turnover. Roberts for 3! That gets the crowd making some noise, and Holly Warlick wants a timeout. It's still a 3-point lead for Tennessee. Georgia, boy, they needed these 3. Patches Roberts coming through.
She just sets her feet.
47.2 the official time remaining in this game. Tennessee with a 3-point lead. Russell trying to set a screen. Nard doesn't use it. Looks like it'll be Tennessee ball. 5 seconds on the shot clock.
And Holly gave the ball to Jamie Nard in case she did get fouled coming off that on-ball screen, knowing she hits 88% from the free throw line.
Russell puts DeShields in a tough position. It's going to be a jump ball, Georgia possession.
Patches Roberts. I know that Diamond has had a great day in terms of points, but she has been spectacular at times where she's locked in one-on-one. Diamond's got some points when other players have switched off, but one-on-one, credit Patches Roberts in there for that jump ball.
Ingram looking for Armbrister, driving, Robinson was open. She gets the rebound, loses it. Looks like Tennessee with all that effort and hustle is what I'm trying to say.
I know what you're saying.
But I believe DeShields was out of bounds, so it'll still be Georgia ball. And another timeout on the floor as the officials are back over at the table. Roy Gobayan taking a look at something here.
So they were running Armbruster off that screen to get her to drive with her right hand to the basket. And Tennessee with some hustle to try and get the possession back.
And you are able to review which team caused the ball to go out of bounds in the last 2 minutes of a half or overtime. So that may be exactly what they're looking at. Here's that play again. I don't think there's any question that was off Tennessee.
Yeah.
Looking at it again. Can't fault the effort of DeShields.
Let's go, dog.
Even if she was still in bounds, she obviously threw it out of bounds on this save dive play right there, yeah.
Now, does it change anything strategy-wise? Now 19.7 on the clock. I mean, you're absolutely right with Georgia. Not a great three-point shooting team, just 28% on the season.
Well, the play that they designed to run was Armbruster looking. She was able to look for a three, wasn't there, so she drove to the paint.
And Gina Cross letting us know it was also a matter of making sure the clock was correct on that out-of-bounds play. So 20.8 seconds left, added a second or so. Off the inbounds, Roberts, tough shot. Robinson fighting with her own teammate for the rebound, but puts it back up and in.
For Jamie Nard to get fouled.
You knew Tennessee was going to put the ball in her hands. Jamie Nard, 88% free throw shooter on the season. And coming into this game, her last 2 games this week, 83%, also shot 64% from the floor. So look, she has not had a big day, but here she is again, as you predicted. Pressure situation, trying to hang on to a lead. Oh my. Second free throw is good, so the lead is 2 for Tennessee. And some full court pressure giving Clark trouble. Both referees indicating a foul will be the call on the floor. Jackson will get whistled for that one, her second. Georgia not yet in the bonus. Clark. Drive into the basket, saw the lane, tie ball game! One chance for Tennessee, and we're going to overtime! Oh, you better wait a few minutes to rise up, people, because it's a tie game in Athens. Who's gonna come away a winner? You better stick around to find out.
Stands the shot clock.
That was the first field goal, first points of the game for Haley Clark. Talk about timely. Now, apparently, Holly Warlick had tried to call a timeout before that last play of regulation, is what we're being told. And the officials going back to take a look at that. Holly Warlick, top left of your screen. Keep an eye on her here and keep an eye on the clock. She's trying to call the timeout.
Yep.
So look like 1.4, correct, on the clock. Tennessee with a chance. The baseball pass is not going to work. Did anybody touch it? Doesn't look that way, so it'll be Georgia basketball with 1.4, and now here we go on the other end.
Here they have the advantage with Kalai Robinson, who's a great leaper, where they could toss it up to her.
They're looking for her. She's curling around the back, takes the shot. Robinson for the win. And now
overtime.
We are going to overtime. Just a few seconds of added drama there. Each team.
Great back screen by Armbrister.
You called it. They were trying to get it to Robinson. The name of the game for this Tennessee team that wants to do what they did a year ago, get hot late in the season. Got to get back to that NCAA Elite Eight. So Tennessee will start off with the ball.
Diamond has noticeably been grimacing. She appears to be in a lot of pain.
She took a charge late in the second half and awkwardly fell. She drives to the basket there. I'm not sure she's had a point since she took that charge, come to think of it. Robinson up and in!
That's on Jamie Nard.
And that'll be her fifth. And what a loss this is. It has not been a tremendous offensive game for Jamie Nard, but as you said, the confidence, the calm of that young lady when you get a free throw opportunity, especially something Tennessee will miss. Robinson couldn't complete the three-point play, but Armbrister maybe even a bit better. Another possession for Georgia.
Holly Warlick talked about her team is not good of rebounding off of free throws, and a missed box out.
Tough pass that time for Robinson, who tried to throw it off of Reynolds, but was not successful. So Tennessee ball.
When you blow the whistle twice in a game, it's a technical foul. It's in the rule book.
2-point lead for Georgia.
Georgia switching up, going zone, trying to stall Tennessee offensively, and they're running Alexa Middleton baseline to try to get her a three-point shot.
Had 11 ties, 10 lead changes in this game. Russell with the turn, and just enough of a touch off the fingertips of Robinson to get the block. And then Russell, maybe a bit of frustration, committing her fourth personal foul.
Rotation by Kalai Robinson, the sophomore, second in the SEC in block shots.
Now, once you get to overtime, fouls don't reset. So teams, both of them in the bonus, you get there when the opposing team has 5 personal. So we'll be in the bonus the rest of the way here. Mentioned what a good free throw shooting team Tennessee is. Not so much for Georgia. Just 67% on the season as a team. Ingram hits the second, makes it a 3-point game. Middleton. Shaquille Nunn in the game as well for Tennessee. Reynolds pulls up and in. 5 points now for Jordan Reynolds.
Excellent shot by Jordan Reynolds, getting into the paint right around the SEC, the weakness of that 2-3 zone.
Roberts. And then Armbruster working for the rebound, and Robinson, but it'll be Tennessee basketball. Tennessee now with a chance to get back out in front. DeShields off the fingertips of Nunn. Georgia ball. That's the 23rd turnover of the game for Tennessee. Roberts open for three. That's her third triple of the game, and it may just be the biggest so far. 4-point lead now for Georgia.
Those clutch three-pointers by Patches Roberts and the stellar defense on Diamond DeShields. She's been invaluable today.
Russell, an easy two on the other end. 20 points for Mercedes. Armbruster. Count it!
No hesitation.
Sometimes you win despite the stats. Georgia, not a great three-point shooting team, but boy, they just hit a couple of big ones.
The shooting is contagious.
Middleton, a fantastic three-point shooter, answers on the other end. That's her second three of the game. But Georgia working it from downtown as well. Roberts hits, and then Armbruster. As you said, hey, it's a good thing to be contagious when it comes to seeing it go 28. Georgia with the ball. Some full court pressure by Tennessee. Roberts can't finish. Tennessee down 2. Lady Vols have won 4 in a row. We're surely looking at a spot in the top 25 after taking down 4th-ranked South Carolina on the road on Monday. Middleton from the corner is short. Robinson decides to pull it back out, be patient. Her team with a 2-point lead, under a minute to go. Clark, who had that gutsy drive to tie things up in regulation. 10 on the shot clock for Armbruster.
You still want to get a good look if you're Georgia, despite lead.
Ingram likes that baseline jumper. About a second difference between shot clock and game clock. DeShields ties it. And Georgia is going to call a timeout. Diamond DeShields had been quiet, maybe a little bit off, but came up big there.
We were wondering if she was a little...
Roberts to Armbruster. Clark. Ingram and Robinson posting up. Robinson comes out now with the ball. Back looking baseline for Roberts and throws it away. 4.8 seconds for Tennessee. You imagine number 11's gonna have something to do with it here. Pull-up jumper, DeShields for the win! And double overtime is on the way from Athens. Athens. What a game between these two teams. All tied up at 68. Tennessee, without Jamie Nard, she fouled out. One of the big three who's had a quiet night. So you're going to need more from a player like an Alexa Middleton. Could see Shaquila Nunn get more minutes in the paint. Mercedes Russell has 4 fouls at the moment. DeShields tied it up to force double overtime. Had a chance to try to put her team out in front and get the win. Couldn't quite finish. Gets it there. 31 now for Diamond DeShields.
She's unstoppable with that shot fake, one dribble to her right.
Ingram over Russell, who has to be careful playing with 4 fouls. Back and forth we go. Reynolds,
Patience.
Beautiful passing. It's going to be a foul on the floor. Tennessee working hard on the defensive end.
And that's the second time, Jen, that Georgia has been careless on that inbounds play after a Tennessee make, where they just kind of casually threw it in there, and you had to know that was going to come back and bite them.
And now Haley Clark out of the game for Georgia after just picking up her 5th personal. Middleton, an 82% free throw shooter, misses the first. Simone Costa back in the game for Georgia with Clark on the bench. Drives to the basket and is fouled. Well, no hesitation there from the junior transfer out of Lisbon, Portugal.
Well, it's a big loss for Georgia and Haley Clark going to the bench now, because she does a great job of just keeping this team calm. And Simone Costa is a player who's really a wing player, kind of having to play out of position, handling the point guard duties when Haley Clark goes to the bench. Does she have enough poise and minutes to will this team to a victory from that position? Because the point guard position, especially late in the game, really matters.
Costa had a season-high 13 points in Georgia's win against Texas A&M earlier this season. Those 2 free throws make it a 1-point game. DeShields gets a double team and makes a mistake off her foot.
Just over dribbling, and this is where they miss Jamie Nard. She's a great floater against opposing teams' zone defense, where she can really get herself available around the high post.
24th turnover right there for Tennessee. That ties the most the Lady Vols have committed this season. Roberts, what a finish! 17 points for Patches Roberts. And the lead back to Georgia. Russell gets it, finishes. 24 in the game for Mercedes Russell.
A great denial by Jordan Reynolds, not letting Patches Roberts get the ball.
Armbruster working on Middleton, has the size advantage.
Fantastic execution. Understanding matchups in the game of basketball, getting the player the ball who has the best matchup.
DeShields swings it over to Mimi Jackson, around and out. Costa taking a glance up at the scoreboard. 1-point lead for the Lady Dogs. 10 on the shot clock. Robinson shaking her head. Now she wants it, gets it, drives, and it's good! 26 for Kalia Robinson, the lead 2 for Georgia. Georgia's last win in the series against Tennessee came in 2010 when they upset the third-ranked Lady Vols. Tennessee has won 10 straight since then. Final minute. We are in overtime number 2 in Athens. Jen Hildreth, Steffi Sorensen. What?
Trying to catch my breath. I'm not even out there.
These two teams have really fought for it this afternoon. 3 on the shot clock. They need to hurry. Armbruster unleashes it off the front of the rim. Robinson, the putback! DeShields, just like that, takes a 2-possession game and turns it into 1.
Kalia Robinson, have yourself a day. This is the type of performance that this team was
Georgia up 2 with the ball, need to get it in. Tennessee putting on some pressure. Costa needs to get it over and does.
taking a lot of time off the clock here.
And now finally, Mimi Jackson commits the foul, her 4th. Georgia, not a great free throw shooting team. However, Costa is one of their better free throw shooters. 74% on the season. 2 for 2 today. With a chance to make it a 2-possession game. She can't do it. The lead 3 for Georgia. DeShields. The immediate double team, hands it off to Reynolds. She doesn't hit. Robinson back to Reynolds.